Hello, you guys. So we are on to the very next step that I do, which is mottling. Now, mottling is good because it adds dimension to the skin tone, regardless if it's an ethnic doll or a Caucasian doll. This step is very similar. So I do 4 different colors for mottling. So the first 2 that I tend to do are the blue, which is the same vein blue that I used before for the blue shading and the veining. And then I'll do a dirty purple, which is kind of like this color. I call it a dirty purple, so it's like a deeper purple. It looks red on camera. It's picking up red, a little more red than it is in person. So you want like a deep purple color. So that'll be the second one. And I make sure they completely dry the mottling layers in between different colors. So I'll do the blue mottling now, and then I'll wait for that to dry completely. And then I'll do the purple mottling, and then I'll bake it. And then I'll do the last 2 mottling layers. So we're going to first just do this blue layer. Now, to make a mottling sponge, you don't have to buy a specific little like fancy sea sponge. You can if you want. But the way I do is I just make them by getting a cosmetic sponge. You want a denser one. This is like a really dense cosmetic wedge, and then you take tweezers and you just pluck out the holes so you get like a irregular pattern. So it's quite simple what you're going to do for mottling. You're just going to get your paint, brush it onto the sponge, and then you're going to just pounce that all over the kit. You don't want to like leave big blank sections because it just kind of looks incomplete. And you're going to avoid the lips. You're going to avoid the palms and the soles for the most part. Some people do model on the feet, the soles and the palms. I do not. It's really up to you if you want that effect. I tend not to for my purposes. So I'm just going to show you. Basically, you're just going to pounce all over him. So he's already been baked. His veins are baked in. I can't see if you can see his veins. You can kind of see the vein on his forehead right there. So it's all been baked in and blended. So now I'm just going to show you. You're just pouncing, just like you did with the base coat. You're just going to pounce this pattern and rotate as you go, so it's not just like extremely a repeating pattern. And this is the same process you're going to follow for all the mottling layers. Just all over. So I won't record all of that because you get the point. And you're going to want to refresh your sponge because it will run out of pigment. So just all over. Bring it on the cheeks. Bring it down the forehead. All over. And if you feel like your color is too light, which I think mine is too light, you can just add in a little bit more of blue at a time. Because like I said, blue is a very permanent color, so you want to be careful when you're doing blue, which is why I build up my veins. It's easy to go too dark with blue, and then you have a baby that looks, for lack of better words, dead, which is not what you want. So one thing to note about how I do mottling is I avoid the center part of the face, so I don't model on the nose, the eye area, and like the mouth, upper lip area. So I bring it to the cheeks and work around those areas. So his head is all modeled, and I'll do the same like process of just pouncing the pattern on his limbs. So as you can see, if you rotate, you can kind of see that repeating pattern, twisting and turning all around the arm. And I did that on the other arm, and I will do that on the same kind of process on the legs. Mottling is by far the quickest step. You just go at it, pounce all over that kit. So that concludes the first mottling layer. You can see it's already drying. And like I said, it's the quickest step. It only takes me about 10 minutes, even for a very large kit like Joseph, because all you're doing is very quickly blotting that color onto the kit. So it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see kind of where the pattern is, where it's wet. So I'll leave him to dry, and then I'll do the second color in a second. I'll show you how that looks. Alright, as you can see, his blue mottling is dry. You can't see it that well. Let me see if you can back up and kind of see. Yeah, so his blue mottling is dry, so basically now it's time to move on to the purple before I bake. So the purple mottling, I have actually deepened the color. Didn't like how it quite looked. So this color is a mixture of Bountiful Baby's Eyelid Purple with a little bit of the Crimson 01 mixed together in the Mona Lisa thinner. All of this is in Mona Lisa thinner that I use. I'm testing it now on a piece of paper towel to see if I like that color, and I do. So I'm going to get my sponge that I use for my purple mottling, which is very just similar to the sponge that I used before in the blue mottling. So again, I made my own one. So just gonna do the same process all over the kit, avoiding the lips, the middle of the face area, and the palms and the soles of the feet. But everywhere else, there will be mottling. So I'm not going to film that. Again, it's just pouncing onto the kit. Just pouncing away onto the kit. All over. Okay, everyone. It is much later in the day. So if the lighting's a little different, that's why I'm going to move this camera around. So, we are going to be doing, I've already baked. It's been a while since I've baked. He's definitely cooled down. So, the next thing I'm going to be doing is the third mottling color, which is going to be what I call a burnt orange. I use the Bountiful Baby pre-mixed color called Warm Blush for this color. So, I don't know if you can see. It comes in their beginner set. It's color number 3, Warm Blush. So that's what I use for this step, for this third mottling color. It's a very burnt orange color. So I'm going to get some of my Mona Lisa thinner. We're going to mix this up. Again, just a little bit thicker than what you would do with the watercolor paints. You can see the color quite well in this lighting. It's pretty accurate to what I'm seeing in person. A little bit more. And that should be good. Put that away. In order to keep my workstation clean, I always kind of put the paints away after I use them, just to get them out of my way, so I don't get crazy stuff everywhere. So now I'm just going to do the same thing that I did with with the 2 previous colors. I'm going to brush it on to my sponge that I already had made. And I'm just going to pounce it all over the kit. All over his head, all over his legs, just like I did all the 2 previous colors. And you can see him now, you can see kind of the mottling pattern really kind of nicely showing up. He's looking very good. I'm very happy with how he's looking so far. So now I'm just finishing with this burnt orange color on his last leg, last limb. Again, all over, avoiding the soles of the feet, palms of the hand, the lips, and the middle of the face. Following that same pattern for all of him. Making sure don't miss any big, giant areas. You want spaces where there are no mottling, really, to give that effect, but you don't want to miss any big sections, or it just kind of looks not deliberate. So I am happy with this layer, so I will set him aside and we'll do the last undertone mottling layer. I do mottling again later on after the main skin tone is done. So you can see right there with the light catching it, how the mottling is looking. Yep, so I'm happy with that layer. Let that dry. Next one will be a cherry red mottling layer. Okay, this is the last undertone layer, like I said. Let me turn the light back on. He is all dry now. He dries fairly quickly with these types of layers. This is the cherry red that I'm talking about. As you can see, it's very red, very like true red. And I use for that I think it's called Pyroli. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Pyroli Red 02. Let's see if I can actually, so you guys can see. Pyroli Red 02. However you pronounce that. That's the color that I use for this. I don't mix it with anything else. Just the Mona Lisa in that color. And then I already have a sponge ready from when I do my other dolls. You reuse your sponges. It saves you a lot of time, especially if you're just doing the same colors. So I'm going to do the same mottling pattern that I've been doing with the other 3 colors. So just a repeat of that. Always make sure you dust off your kit in between layers because settlements can get onto the kit. You don't want big pieces of whatever to get trapped in the paint layers. I can't tell if this is too dark. I think it's actually perfect. Yeah, this'll be fine. So, I'm going to do this all over the head and all over the limbs. So, I'm working on the last limb now, and this is this is what I call very much the awkward stage, where after you put the last base mottling layer on, he kind of looks like he has a rash. But that look will diminish obviously by like probably the second or third skin tone layer. By then it'll look very much more like it's under the skin. Right now he just kind of looks like a sunburn, but that's normal. That's normal for this stage in the process. The first time I did this, it was quite concerning. I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so dark. Is it gonna work out? But no, it's just how it looks for this time being. So I'll show you his head in a second so you can get an idea of what I mean, where it's drying on his face and he looks kind of sketchy looking, not like it doesn't look quite right, but it will work out. So that is the cherry red layer on the leg. You can see that nice mottling going on that leg with the light. I'm trying to capture what I'm seeing so you can see what I mean by it kind of looks rash-like right now because of the red is such a dominant color. Put that leg and then I'll show you his head. And then I'm going to let this dry while I'm in the shower and then bake it. And then come back with the first skin tone layer. And I'll show you how I mix that as well. So here is his head right now. Let's see. Pick it up. I'm trying to get where you can see what I'm seeing. Oh, there you go. You can see kind of on the side of his head there. Let me see. Switch around. You can see kind of. Sorry, I'm moving the camera around. I'm trying to get really. Maybe if I turn the light off, you'll see. Yeah, you can see how it's kind of red. And all the different colors. So that's how it looks right now.